Good evening, Vineet. Good evening to my fellow panelists and Newsx viewers. Yes, I'm sure you, me, and my panelists, and of course, a lot of our viewers have traveled abroad. And there's one thing which stands out every time we board a train or we board a flight. Of course, let's leave out the flights for now. But every time you reach a station in any one of these developed countries, and some of them so-called developed countries, is that the railway infrastructure. You don't have to think twice between making a choice to travel by air or by train. Of course, if it's not a long distance, because you feel that the train is as comfortable as a flight, and sometimes even better. In fact, the facilities at the railway station are far better. They are cleaner, they are leaner. You get everything there. It doesn't feel like, in fact, a lot of times I have seen families when they travel abroad, they comment on the railway station, well, that this is better than our airport. That's what they have to say. And I think this particular sentence was pinching because, as you rightly said, having trains like Vande Bharat, and tomorrow, in some time from now, we're going to have a bullet train as well. To be having railway stations which stink, to be having railway stations who are deteriorating in terms of their condition, to be having railway stations who lack facilities was obviously a dent on the whole railway infrastructure, and that's where the thought came, and that's where I think the Amrit Bharat concept emanated from. Now I'm so glad that 103 have been done up, and I'm dying to visit if you ask me. I'm really wanting to. I remember my spouse, every time I ask her to accompany me on a train instead of flight, she says, train is fine. We can probably book a second class AC or a first class AC or whatever. But I don't like the train stations because as you move closer to the train, it stinks. It really stinks, and the infrastructure is not good. So I'm so glad this is happening. You can't even imagine the kind of benefit it will provide, not just to railways, but to countries' travel mechanism, the whole travel ecosystem which the country has. Railways, as they say, is the lifeline of our country. It will provide accessibility, it will provide cleanliness, it will provide access to the disabled, to the specially abled. You will have food shops, you will have shopping at the railway station. The whole railway station is an experience by itself. It's not just running and boarding a train and just getting out. And every time you alight a train, it's a place to relax. It's a place where you feel comfortable. It's a place where you like to spend time. Obviously, you don't reach the railway station at the last minute. There are many a times when you reach an hour before, an hour and a half before, you've got time to kill. Now, this is not a place now which is going to be a time to kill. It is going to be a place where you're going to relish spending your time. So I think it's a very welcome move, and with 1,300 of them coming up, another 500 going to come up in the next 2 years. I'm sure this is something which was much awaited, because railway station experience for each one of us, was definitely not the best of experiences. And I'm talking, I can probably draw the analogy from the airports which used to be, 10, 15, 20 years ago. The airports used to be similar, those dilapidated airports. They looked like bus stations at that time. And look now, you go to any airport in the country, leaving out a few tiny airports, every single airport is an experience. And that's what the aspiration is, to try and reach the level where airports have reached, that these railway stations should be a pleasure to visit, a pleasure to board a train, a pleasure to be alighting on these railway stations. I think it's an absolutely welcome step. Congratulations to the whole country, not just to the Prime Minister and people. I mean, the whole country needs to be congratulated, because trains are something which run through our life, and they connect us so well to the entire, each and every corner of the country. I think very welcome step. I'm really looking forward, Vineet, if you ask me, for all of these to be completed, another 500 in the next 2 years, and probably 1,300 anytime soon. And more than that, I'm looking forward to visiting. And look at the economic benefits, Vineet. Those many more jobs being provided. Every time you go into a renovation project, there are people employed, there are contractors employed, there is more material consumed. It adds value to the economy. It adds to the infrastructure. And this is part of government's initiative of, it has now exceeded 100 lakh crores. And I think the Viksit Bharat 2047 dream, this is very key element of the dream, because a developed country is a developed country when you also reach the railway station and you feel that, yes, this is the place, which country should be proud of. That's what country is aiming for. And I'm sure this 2047 dream is more achievable now with this big step, Vineet.
You're absolutely right, Dr. Kohli. The